We have NFL player props and anytime touchdown bets for week 9. Let's talk some pigskin. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and we are back to talk some more football. That's right, it is play up prop time for week 9. If you're looking for our best game bets and all the best week 9 trends, be sure to check out our best bets video that is out now on the channel. Also, coming out Saturday later in the day will be our Sunday night football video. That's right, we have a standalone video for that primetime game between the Colts and the Vikings. So just want to let you know there. But before we get started, you guys know the drill. Outlier, it is the best player prop research tool out there on the market. You are missing out if you are not a part of it. The link is below. You have nothing to lose. Click on it. You get a 7-day free trial and go check it out. You can use it on many different sports. So I'm ready to get into it. I don't even have an NFL fun fact today. I'm locked in. I'm ready to roll. So in this video, we're going to talk about our 5 favorite NFL player props. And then, of course, we have that ladder parlay again. And then I'll give you my 3 favorite anytime touchdown bets, and we'll wrap it all up with the recap. We got a lot of bets to get into. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below. Help this channel continue to grow as we might hit 31,000 subscribers this weekend. If you're new to that channel, hit the subscribe button. We talk all things NFL, MLB, NBA, and NHL, and have a lot of fun doing it. So let's get it started, and that means it's player prop time. All right, this first one is a wide receiver prop. Give me the rookie, Malik Neighbors, over 68.5 receiving yards, minus 110 on Bet365. If this number went up a little bit, I did give this prop out on Discord, which is free, by the way, and also on X on Thursday when I saw it, just because I just want to give that out to everybody before the line went up. But I love this one, over 68.5. So he's over this in 4 of 6 games this season. One miss was 66 yards in his NFL debut, just missed it. The other miss was his first game back after concussion. But his best game this season was against these exact Washington Commanders, 127 yards. Yes, the Commanders have improved a little bit defensively since then, but still, I love this number. Neighbors is one of the most targeted guys in the NFL. Here's what he's done in the last 5 games. In targets, at least 13, 8, 15, 12, 18. Absolutely insane to me. I'm surprised to see a line under 70 yards for such a dynamic wide receiver who is getting double-digit targets practically every single game. And then we just go over Malik Neighbors' stats. 16th most yards after catch, 179 yak this season. Neighbors has his second most targets in the NFL, like we talked about, even though he did miss a couple games, which is also crazy. To miss a couple games and still be the second most. He has a solid 11.45 ADOT, which is average depth of target, over 11 yards. He is number 1 in the NFL with a 27% first read target share. That is wild for a rookie to have that. He is obviously the whole entire offense. Matchup-wise, Commanders defense, like I mentioned, they've been better the last few weeks, but overall versus wide receivers, they're still 18th in receiving yards allowed to the wide receiver position. Just a few weeks ago, gave up 132 to Zay Flowers, 71 to Rashad Bateman in that Ravens game. And last week, the Bears barely threw the ball. They ran the ball 28 times between Caleb Williams and DeAndre Swift, so there wasn't a lot of passing in that game in general. And then, as always in Giants games, they should be playing from behind. There should be lots of passes coming. The Giants O-line are going to have their hands full against the pass rush. I'm not going to lie there, but I think volume alone should get us there with Malik Neighbors. If he's getting 12, 13, 14 targets, we should get over this number. He doesn't have to be super efficient, just have a decently efficient night. Obviously, he's a big play guy who can always make a big play and get a big chunk of this on 1 or 2 catches. If Tyrone Tracy is out also, their running back, they're going to probably lean on the pass even more. Daniel Jones' pass attempts line is set at 31.5 for a reason. I think he's going to throw the ball a lot here. So give me Neighbors to have another big game against the Commanders and go over 68.5 receiving yards as my first best bet. All right, this second best bet is another wide receiver prop. Give me Jacoby Myers of the Raiders, over 52.5 receiving yards, minus 115 on BetMGM for 1 unit. That's right, we're betting on a Raider player, and it's not our boy Brock Bowers, but it's Jacoby Myers. He leads the team with a 32.8% first read target share in the 3 games without Davante Adams. That's absolutely incredible. So let's check out some more stats now with Outlier, and let's dive into Mr. Jacoby Myers. So here we are in 2024 this season. As you can see, he actually has 49 or more receiving yards in 5 of 6 games. So that's not a bad floor when we only need 53. But obviously, it's about without Davante Adams as well. But the last 2 weeks, you can see right there, if we scroll down a little bit, it's against the Chiefs and the Broncos. So, it's been tough. And he's still got 72 against the Broncos, 52 against the Chiefs. He is 1 yard short of going over. He's going to have a little bit easier matchup here. But now, let's go and see what he has done without Davante Adams these last 3 games. So you go up there, you go without. and then you can search Devontae Adams, and there it is right there. And then we can check it out. There's the 3 games as we are talking. We can see 49, 72, and 52 receiving yards. I mean, 1 yard short of going over this on all in 2 of the 3. But as you can see, again, 49 is the lowest he's had, and he's placed tougher defenses. So now let's dive into the numbers in these 3 games and go down, and we can look at some targets and target share right there, or receptions and targets. Sorry, let's go there first. And as you can see, he has 10, 9, and 7 targets in those games. So he's getting peppered with a lot of targets. He's one of the, obviously, a high first target read share helps with that. But if you go to average yards per reception, also, he's averaging 10.2 yards per catch. It says that in the little numbers right underneath average yards per reception. And then we can go to click on the average yard share. Sorry, I can't talk right now, but the air yard share, you can see 45% air yard share, 61 and 29% the last 3 games without Devontae Adams. This guy is a huge focal point of this offense. Now let's go check out the matchup with the Bengals. And as you can see, versus wide receivers, the 19th best in allowing passing yards to that position. They just give up 85 to A.J. Brown, 84 to Devontae Smith, and then they gave up 81 to Cedric Tillman, 76 to Njoku. I know Njoku is a tight end, but still another pass catcher. 4 pass catchers have gone over this line versus Cincy the last 2 weeks. I love the game script here. The Raiders are 7-point underdog. They're more than likely going to be playing from behind like they usually do. I love the volume here we're getting with Myers. I think this line is too low. Give me Jacoby over 52.5 receiving yards as my second best bet. All right, this third one is another wide receiver prop. Give me the man, the myth, the legend, A.J. Brown, over 79.5 receiving yards, minus 110 on DraftKings for 1 unit. How many times have we cashed bets against the Jacksonville Jaguars? Let's hop right into Outlier and check all of these numbers out now. So, as you can see in 2024, he's played 4 games. He's gone over in every single game. That's right. That's what all the green means. I'm not sure what we're doing with this line at 79.5. I think it should be higher. But let's scroll down and look into these numbers on these last 4 games as well that he's played. So if you go to yards per reception where we're at, he's averaging 19.4 yards per reception. We know he is a big play guy. He can get this in 1 or 2 or not 1 catch probably, but just a couple catches. And then if you go over to our yards air yard share, again, I cannot say that word for some reason. He has a 59% air yard share. That is top 5 in the entire NFL, guys. This guy is absolutely elite. He is going to make splash plays. And then, of course, we look at the matchup. I mean, the Jaguars are just almost as bad as it gets. 29th in the league in receiving yards allowed to the wide receiver position. And the crazy thing is they're ranked 29th, even though they face the Browns with Deshaun Watson, Colts, Bears, and Patriots. It's an absolute dream matchup considering the Jags play a lot on one high safety. A.J. Brown should absolutely torch one high safety. He should torch them no matter what. But I think this is an absolute great matchup. I think he has a great game. But let's look at some more A.J. Brown stats. 13.66 ADOT, again, average depth of target. In the 4 weeks he has played, he has the 6th most yards after catch in the NFL with 128 just in those 4 weeks that he's played, and the 5th most targets. He gets absolutely peppered with targets. He makes big plays. A great combo, obviously, you want to see. I like A.J. Brown here to have a big game. So what can Brown do for you? Hopefully it's 80-plus receiving yards. And now on to bet number 4. All right, this fourth one is not a wide receiver prop. We are heading to the quarterback. That's right. Give me Matthew Stafford over 238.5 passing yards. I got this at minus 113 on FanDuel for 1 unit. This line is just too low with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp both back now. Let's talk about these numbers when he has his 2 studs. If you can tell by this screenshot right here, with Nacua and Kupp, he finished last season going over this in 6 straight games. Not just that, in those 6 games, he averaged 258 yards per game. And then if we show this next screenshot, he's gone over in both games this season already as well with just them 2. He's only had 2 games with them, averaging 298 passing yards per game in those 2 games. That makes it 8 straight, by the way, when he has Nacua and Kupp where he has gone over this line. I think we're getting a discount here. So this offense is starting to look a little dangerous. Stafford just threw for 279 against the Vikings last week. He is now facing my beloved Seattle Seahawks defense that is much worse than the overall numbers show. Why is that? Well, we've talked about it before. The first 3 weeks was an absolute just cakewalk for them. Bo Nix in his NFL debut, Jacoby Brissett, and Skylar Thompson. Their numbers looked unbelievable, like they were the most elite defense of the entire league. That doesn't really count, though, those first 3 weeks. Since those first 3 weeks, they have allowed on average 264 passing yards per game. The Seahawks struggle to get pressure on the quarterbacks. That is not good versus Stafford. That's what you got to do. You got to put pressure on Stafford if you want to have any chance. The Rams also, by the way, own my Seattle Seahawks. They have crushed us for many years lately. This number is just too low, and I think it's because of the bad games he's had without his star wide receivers. It has not adjusted yet. Even Kyron Williams, even though he had a good game last week, ran for almost 100 yards. Stafford still almost threw for 300. I love Stafford in this one, over 238.5 passing yards as my fourth best bet. All right, the fifth and final player prop before we get into the anytime touchdowns and the ladder parlay is long overdue, and I apologize. It is a kicker prop. That's right. Give me Austin Seibert over 1.5 field goals, minus 105 on BetMGM. This is a full unit play for me. He plays for the Commanders, by the way, for those of you that aren't keeping up with all your kickers and what team they play for. But they take on the Giants. Guess what he did last time he placed the Giants? How about 7 field goals? I kid you not. You guys remember that game? The Giants scored 3 touchdowns and lost the game to the Commanders on 7 field goals. He's now made 2+ field goals in 6 of 7 games this year. That's right. That's the hit rate. 6 of 7 games. He actually has 3+ field goals in 3 straight games now. And not just that, I'm not done. 4 field goals in each of the last 2 games. That's right. He has 8 in the last 2 games. Jane Daniels being a little injured honestly might help this bet a little bit more. He used his legs a little less. He plays a little bit more conservative if you base it on last week. And maybe that just helps him stall on a drive or two, and that's kind of what you need in the red zone. But the Giants, surprisingly, they've allowed the 12th most field goal attempts per game at 2.4 per game. The reason? They're actually pretty good defensively in the red zone. It's shocking. They've allowed the 5th lowest percentage of touchdowns to their opponent on red zone drives at only 42.11. Maybe it's because they let them score from outside the red zone. But either way, Seibert and the Commanders have just been absolute field goal kicking machines. We're going to ride the leg and take this over 1.5 field goals as my 5th and final best bet. And now let's take a look at the ladder parlay. All right, the ladder parlay here is Austin Seibert, 6+ field goals. No, I'm just joking. I'm taking 2 of the guys we just talked about. Give me Matthew Stafford, 250+ pass yards, and A.J. Brown, 90+ receiving yards. It's plus 373 on DK. Again, this is just what I'm doing. If you like my information or there's something that stuck out to you and you want to take them, you go ladder whoever you want. If you want to go higher than 90+ for A.J. Brown or Stafford higher than 250, you guys obviously do whatever you want. I'm just here to give you as much info as possible. I'm going to take this at plus 373, though. I found it on DK. It's going to be a half unit play. I'm just going to be really short here because we just talked about him. But for 250+ pass yards, just a reminder, he averaged 258 yards per game the last 6 games last season with Puka and Kupp on the team, or at least healthy. And then he's averaged 298 pass yards in the 2 games with those 2 guys this season as well. Great matchup versus Seahawks. I think he's got a chance to go 300 yards or more in this game as long as the game script is fine and they're just not blowing us out in this by the second half. But I like Matthew Stafford here. And then A.J. Brown, he has a chance to go 100+, and you could do that, take a bigger chance, but I'm just going to go 90+. His lowest yards game he's had in the 4 games this year, 84 yards, like we showed earlier. He's 90+ in 2 of the 4, but in one of them he had 89. So practically 3 of the 4 games. This is as good a matchup as it gets, obviously. I think he goes over 100 in this game, assuming, again, it's not an absolute blowout and the game script gets wonky. But again, he's a big play guy. He could catch 2 bombs and get over this. So, or it would be tough, but I think he can do it. We've seen it many times this year already. But lots of targets, big play wide receiver. Give me Brown, 90+ receiving yards. Matthew Stafford, 250+ pass yards as the ladder for NFL Week 9. And now, before we get to those anytime touchdown bets, let's tell you about the promo with Bet365. There it is. The great promo with Bet365 right now is bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets. Here's all you have to do, guys. Click the link below and you sign up and then deposit $10. And then your first bet, just put $5 on something. And no matter win or lose, you get $200 in bonus bets, and it happens pretty dang instantly. And not to mention, you get another sports book. So if you are in a legal state for Bet365, go check this out. It's always beneficial to have as many sports books as possible. Get the best odds, best value on all your bets. So, of course, you must be 21 years or older to gamble. If you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, back to the anytime touchdowns. All right, it's time to redeem ourselves. We had a couple good weeks, and then last week went 0-3. So here we go. I'm going to put a quarter unit each on these 3. You guys do what you want. It's running back time. First, we start out with DeAndre Swift of the Chicago Bears. Anytime touchdown, plus 100 on FanDuel. Good matchup here versus Arizona. Cards have allowed the 6th most touchdowns to running backs this season. You saw last week, Devon Achane, Raheem Mostert combined for 3 touchdowns against them. Cards also allow 4.5 yards per carry. And Swift has gotten a lot of chances lately to score. He's actually scored a touchdown now in 4 straight games. He had 14 red zone carries in the last 4 weeks, 16+ carries in the last 4 games. So he is a big part of this offense right now. He's going to get his chances. Hopefully he can make it 5 straight. So give me Swift as the first one. Second one, another running back. David Montgomery. What are we doing with this line? Minus 105 on FanDuel. This line should not be here. I don't know why we're all of a sudden getting a playable line on David Montgomery. We cashed him earlier this season, but he has been a touchdown machine. He has a touchdown now in 6 of 7 games this year. He has 21 red zone attempts this season compared to Jahmyr Gibbs, 19. He has 12 red zone rushes in his last 4 games. 4 of the 17 red zone carries last week went to him. Packers are average in touchdowns allowed to running backs. This is just too good to pass up. We all know David Montgomery can be a touchdown machine. So give me Monty as a second one. The third one, we're going to try something different. I'm going to give you 2, and we're going to put them together. Give me James Cook of the Bills and Derrick Henry of the Ravens. Anytime touchdown, put it together. You get plus 152 on FanDuel. Let's talk James Cook real quick. Surprisingly, it's actually minus 125 on FanDuel still, minus 110 even on Bet365. I thought about making him just my solo bet, but I wanted some plus money, and we're going to throw in Derrick Henry. But for James Cook, I'm not sure why we're even getting playable odds on its own, to be honest with you. There's some books that do have minus 140, 140, minus 150, but he scored a touchdown in 5 of 7 games. He has a touchdown in 4 straight games. He scored 3 touchdowns versus Miami earlier this season. Miami has now given up the 4th most rushing touchdowns in the league with 10. Cook has scored almost 1/3 of the Bills' touchdowns this season overall. He has a 40.4% red zone rush share. That's 21 rush attempts in the red zone. Josh Allen is next with 12. I like him to Cook again. See what I did there? Anyways. Second one, Derrick Henry. I don't think I need to say much, guys. This guy is as automatic as it gets. He is the new Christian McCaffrey this year. He has scored in every single game this season. Not just that, he has 11 freaking touchdowns this year. 11. He is an absolute beast. He's right there with James Cook at 21 red zone rush attempts this season. The Broncos have done well limiting rushing touchdowns, but I don't really care. I'll just say that. I just don't really care. This is a whole different animal, this Ravens rush offense. I think he gets in here. So give me James Cook. Give me Derrick Henry to each score a touchdown as my 3rd touchdown bet. And that's all I got for you today. The 5 player props, the ladder parlay, the 3 anytime touchdown bets. Let's have a great freaking weekend in week 9. But before we get out of here, let's check out the recap. All right, there it is. Malik Neighbors over 68.5 receiving yards. Jacoby Myers over 52.5 receiving yards. And then A.J. Brown over 79.5 receiving yards. Those are the 3 wide receiver props. And then we got Matthew Stafford over 238.5 pass yards. And then Austin Seibert, that's right, a kicking prop is finally back over 1.5 field goals at minus 105. Those are all 1 unit plays. And I'm throwing a half unit on the ladder. Stafford 250 plus, A.J. Brown 90 plus. Get it at plus 373 on DraftKings. And then 3 anytime touchdown bets. Again, I am not parlaying these. You guys do what you want. I just put a quarter unit on each of them. I think touchdowns, you require a lot of luck as well. DeAndre Swift, anytime touchdown, plus 100. David Montgomery, minus 105. And James Cook and Derrick Henry, 1+ touchdown each as a little 2-legger at plus 152. That's what we got for week 9. All the videos are out. Go check that best bets, game bets video out now as well. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Enjoy some football, and we'll talk to you soon.